Chosen ones. What is a chosen one? Um, so you're a chosen one if your bloodline is demonic. Your parents are bad people, their parents are bad people, and all of their kids are bad people. But they're not that bad. I've never heard of a chosen one who's been like molested or tortured in a basement or anything like that. But basically, everyone in your family treats you like a coat hanger to put their projections on. Um, they condescend to you. They talk bad about you behind your back. They humiliate you and pretty much gang up on you. Um, you're a chosen one if you go out into public places and you get intense stares from strangers, even though you have nothing to do with them and haven't said anything to them. Um, you're a chosen one if everywhere you go, you are either ignored, hated, or tormented by people. Basically, people just want to drag you down and make you feel bad about yourself, even though you haven't really done anything to them. You're probably chosen if you, and there's all kinds of different reasons this can happen. Maybe you're just like a legitimate asshole. It doesn't necessarily mean you're chosen, but you basically have to look at like the big picture of all these symptoms. But you're chosen if you can't hold down a job um, because you have to work with coworkers and they want nothing more than to get an emotional reaction out of you and make you angry and miserable, and they won't be happy until they do that. Basically, chosen ones are people who they attract emotional vampires at an extremely higher rate, um, and also they have a blockage that stops them from attracting good people. That's the part that nobody talks about. All the chosen one videos are about like why you attract toxic people. Listen, the world is toxic. Everyone, almost everyone here is an asshole. Um, that question does not concern me because it's an easy fix, right? If you attract somebody who's toxic into your life, just get rid of them. And if you're chosen, you should be used to this. That's all I've been doing my entire life is getting rid of people that are just disrespectful, low vibration, mean for no reason. Um, but the real question that almost nobody asks is that's really the important question is why is there some kind of blockage that no good people come in? Think about it. If you just had one or two good people come into your life, you wouldn't need to worry about all these toxic people that come into your life. Just throw them out. Throw them out like a Taco Bell wrapper, dude, right in the trash. You could do that and you would probably be fine because you have one or two people. Chosen ones don't have those one or two people. Chosen ones uh, bring people into their lives that, and I guess there's some kind of like messed up attraction on the part of chosen ones as well because there would have to be. I mean, there is enough discernment there to see red flags and to make a decision that you're messed up. Something about chosen ones. Um, I mean, after enough times, you start to pick up on it. You just stop talking to anybody. But interestingly, the high vibration people never really enter your sphere. Like you never really find them. There's some kind of blockage there of fate. So those are some of the symptoms of being a chosen one. Um, a question is, what are you chosen for? And this is something that I disagree with a lot of like chosen one community members. Uh, because basically they say it like, okay, um, everywhere you go, you attract enemies and you attract haters, and you're being isolated. And they say this is to make you stronger so that you can basically fight evil and make the world a more positive place. Um, this is not true at the level of your family. If you try to explain to one of your family members how messed up everything is in your family and how things can be changed, Most likely, they will deny it outright. They are hear no evil, see no evil, and most likely they will be hostile to you, right? And that's what the chosen one family structure generally looks like. Is you have some people that are just bipolar, you know, mean, demonic sort of assholes to different degrees. And then there's maybe another one that's just kind of in a lot of denial and just lets all this stuff happen. But ultimately, the end result is everybody just kind of gangs up on you. So my point is, if you cannot even affect change in your bloodline and bring darkness to light, listen, if you're a chosen one, your vibration is already so high that you carry light with you everywhere, and everyone you come in contact with, you bring their demons to the surface. A chosen one is a walking exorcism. But the thing is with that, exorcism is not throwing holy water and saying, I rebuke you, demon. That's not what an exorcism is. The exorcism is you bring demons to the surface, and then the individual has the choice to regain control and deal with those demons uh, in whatsoever way they see fit. And the thing is, the reason chosen ones are not here to save the world and they're not here to make the world positive or a better place is because you constantly, everywhere you go, every room you enter, you bring people's demons to the surface. That's what brings out their hostility. But look at what people do with their demons coming to the surface. Look at what they do with that exorcism effect you have on them. They have an opportunity there to. I mean, you're not doing anything to them. You're not insulting them. You're not being mean to them. You're not making them look bad. You're not making any step to make them look bad. Somewhere deep in their core, though, deep in the core of their soul, they feel inferior and they feel humiliated just by your presence. Um, and you being there has an opportunity, gives them an opportunity to reflect on why they feel that way, and then that could give them the opportunity to evolve and basically process their feelings so that they can become more high vibration. The thing is, almost nobody does that. Everywhere you go, you bring your light, and everybody, um, with their demons coming to the surface, just attacks you as a result. They don't turn inward to purify their own hearts. They attack what they see as the source of the irritation. As they say, your light irritates their demons. So then what are you chosen to do? Are you chosen? Okay. So you're chosen, you're being isolated, and you keep attracting toxic people to make you stronger so that you can accomplish some special goal. Maybe become some kind of legendary figure, or become famous in some way, or whatever the case. I hear fucking Terry Joel Jr. talking about yeah, no, that isolation season's behind you, and basically the whole point of it is to um, make you focus on yourself so that you can become what? Like, so he talks about, like, okay, you lift weights and you build like a weightlifting empire or whatever the case. Um, the problem is chosen ones have no reach, because once again, you are ignored, you are hated, and you are tortured. So we just gave an example of how um, it's ineffectual to try to bring the light to the world when clearly you don't have that effect on people. You're not here to fight evil because look at your family. Everybody gets on the side of evil, and then they gang up on you. Everywhere you go, it's you versus everybody. Um, everywhere you go, it's you versus everybody. So how can you fight evil if the world is on evil side? How can you fight evil if somebody is a cruel piece of shit and then everybody takes their side and you're just the reject that nobody listens to? Right? Just think about it, right? So you're not here to fight evil. You're not here to make the world a more positive, better place. Um, because, and let me put a caveat on that. You're not here to transform the world. Um, as a chosen one, pretty much your only real mission, um, in relation to other people, is to find other chosen ones and let them know why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. That's where it begins and ends. There are people out there that their family gaslights them and treats them like shit. Everybody, everywhere they go, they're treated like shit. They're isolated. They suffer. You know what I mean? Um, Group mobs against them. Just everywhere they fucking go. They can't say nothing without getting crucified, and they need to know why. And that's what you're there for. So that's what the chosen one community is for. But the that means you're playing towards a very small minority of people, right? 144,000, right? That's how many chosen ones? 144,000. How many people are there in the world? 8 billion. Hmm. Let's do some math here. Okay. Uh, that's 144,000 divided by 8 billion. All right. How many people is that? Okay. That's 0.0000, let's say 9, right? 0.00009. I think I'm doing that right. I'm not very good at math, but 0.0000018. Okay, so in terms of percentages, that's 0.0018% of people. That's nothing like changing the world. That's nothing like transforming the world. You are playing to an extreme minority, and you're only here to let them know why they're suffering. The other people, you try to maybe you try to transform them, but honestly, it doesn't matter if you try to transform them. Your presence is evolutionary. Your energy is evolutionary. Um, that's what evolution really is it brings up the demons in your being that are the repressive, unconscious aspects of self that cause possession, and you process that. So that's what you have within yourself. And that's why your high consciousness being is you have the ability to do that. Most people do not have the ability to do that. They have severed their relationship with evolution. They have severed their relationship um, with processing their emotions. All they do is focus on the external world, and they try to project all of their repressed bullshit onto whoever they can, um, which incidentally ends up being the high vibration people. Interestingly, um, not only are you here, not only are you not here to make them better, in a very real sense, there is a faded connection between you and those people where um, they are there to make you better and you are there to make them worse. Here's what I mean by that. Um, I know it's a very disjointed video, but I'll start with that one. Karma is real, and reincarnation is real, and suffering is this suffering and this transformation process is part of a cycle. It's really not the kind of thing like a lot of chosen ones say. It's like, you're put on this earth to, fight evil and then you go party in heaven. That's not what's going on here. Because number one, have you seen that video yet? Have you seen that video of one of these chosen ones being like, yeah, man, that season where everybody ganged up on me and I was being completely isolated? That's over now. And now I am transforming the whole landscape, and um, I conquer all these evil people, and now everybody's on my side. Have you seen that video yet? I have not seen that video yet. So how old are we talking here that we start to fight evil and change the world? Are we talking 40s? Because I haven't seen the 30-year-old saying it. I haven't seen the 20-year-old saying it. Are we talking 40s? Haven't seen the 40-year-old saying it. So when does that happen? Does it happen when you're 60? Now you're fighting evil. Now you're winning the battle against evil. And now you're 60. Now you, no one's gonna fuck it. Come on. People listen to you even less when you're 60. So what is it then? You're chosen to be here to fight evil, and to get stronger and to endure this suffering, to develop this toughness for what? So for when you go to heaven? Or is it when you're 70? When is that for? Is it for when you're 70 or for when you're in heaven? So that's not what it is. It's reincarnation. It's evolutionary pressure. And it's basically intended to do one of two things. On your part, it is meant to force, through immense pressure and friction, Christ consciousness. Meaning, um, everybody hated Christ for no fucking reason. He's the coolest dude, nicest dude. Everybody hated him for no reason. And he was literally crucified. That's how much he pissed people off. Still, what did he do? He forgave everybody. And he looked at the despicable actions of the average person, and he took the despicable things people did to him, and he put on these lens of understanding, and he understood them and he forgave them, and in so doing, he got closer to divinity, because you get closer to God doing that. You get closer to, and God is joy. But this all has to do with this evolutionary cycle. Most of the people right now, the term would be Kali Yuga. Sorry if you're like devout, the Bible is everything that's true, Christian, but really, Christianity is not the full picture here, and it's in a lot of places not that accurate. Although it does have a lot of good points. Um, Karma and reincarnation are real, and people that this is the Kali Yuga. This is a point in time where all of the high density, um, carnal, flesh bound, low vibration people that have failed their relationship with evolution are here as part of a soul contract to get worse. What I mean by get worse is you are either evolving to the heavens or you're evolving deeper into the earth. And if you're evolving deeper into the earth, that's what it means to be collecting more demons inside of you, and to increase the level of possession. So because their soul contract is predicated upon fleeing from evolution and moving towards the earth, they're actually here to deepen their karma and make it worse. So basically, you can think of it kind of like one step forward, two steps back, or two steps forward, one step back. Um, Chosen ones are people that, in this cycle of evolution, they have not reached that peak and started descending yet. They are onwards towards transcendence. Um, and as a result, they are two steps forward, one step back, meaning they have um, confrontations uh, with suffering, and their life is kind of like two part suffering, one part happiness. But it's evolutionary. So there's you're becoming more pure, and you are given the opportunity to develop more Christ consciousness. But these descending souls that are part of the Kali Yuga, they're one step forward, two steps back, meaning they're highly attracted to chosen ones because chosen ones represent an energy that at some point in their cycle of reincarnation, um, they couldn't take it anymore and they start fleeing from that energy, but they're still attracted to it because they realize that all the joy is there, but they can't handle it. So it's kind of like this really touch and go. You know what I mean? Like, let me get a little close and then like let me get far away from it. And they're using that energy, that evolutionary energy, to get worse. Meaning, they want their demons to come to the surface. So that's the thing too. They hate you. They hate you, and they want you. Um, they hate you, and they hate what how you make them feel, but they cannot stop um, being obsessed with you. They cannot stop. They think so hard and they put in so much effort to form a relationship with you just to make you miserable. Um, what this is at the deepest level of their soul, they want those demons to come to the surface so that they can damage themselves even more. They want to create kind of like a downhill boulder. Um, what do they call that? When it's like a snow and it kind of like piles on top of itself. Avalanche. I don't think that's what the word is. But anyways, it's kind of like it's they want their karma to pick up momentum downhill so that they can accelerate their progression towards getting worse. Basically, it is they want to um, fill themselves up with more foul, traumatic energy so that their defense mechanisms, which is not just in the mind, by the way, is also at the level of the soul. They want to become more calcified so that they can become more unconscious and more beast-like and get closer to the earth. That's basically what's going on here. And they need you to do that. In order, you as a chosen one have an energy that you are um, having limits being broken. Suffering is pushing you to places that limits to your evolution are being broken. But in the same breath, the common person of the Kali Yuga, the worthless demonic people of this time, they want to break through thresholds as well. They're trying to exceed limitations as well, and in order to do that, they're using evolutionary energy to actually devolve. One step forward, two steps back. Let me get a little bit closer to this evolutionary energy to bring up this demonic aspect of myself so that it can grow and expand and spread to other parts of myself. So that is the basis of the attraction. Now, once again, I find it much more interesting that um, there is a blockage that stops high vibration people from connecting. It certainly seems that way as part of the isolation. Um, the attraction between high vibration people and toxic people is much more understandable to me. I mean, it's basically a trope. Like this is just something this has been a story that's been told throughout millennia and generations. Um, so it all comes back around to what are you chosen for? And I think a much better answer for that is you're chosen for monastic life. You're chosen to be a monk. Think about it. How can you be this famous legendary figure if everybody ignores you, you're being isolated, you're being hated, and everybody attacks you at every turn? You know, if that was meant to be, there wouldn't be nearly so much inertia and so much resistance. But there is. You're not here to heal the world because, frankly, chosen ones suck at that. you know, um, Your presence brings people's demons to the surface, but look at what they do with it. And you could talk to them for 100 years, but they're so unconscious and so delusional that you'd make no progress. That's once again, that's it's not what they're meant to do. They're not here to do that. Your fate is in your bones. In your bones is your reason for being here. Your soul contract is in your bones. Their soul contract is in their bones. You are interfering in their devolution when you try to change the world, when you try to bring love and light everywhere. This is not a time of love and light. This is a time of vicious decay, delusion, perversity, and degeneration. Um, this is a time of deepening karma so that suffering can be endured. And with that suffering, the polarity towards heaven or earth comes into play. So that's one thing to understand about vice and virtue. I know this is really ADD. I'll get back to my previous point in a second, but um, virtue is taking your suffering up front so that you can experience greater happiness in the long run. That is what it means to be a chosen one. The people of the Kali Yuga are carnal and base and viceful. Their soul contract is that they're here to satiate their ego, to get receive validation. Toxic people of the Kali Yuga generally have the support of most people and make a lot of friends. Um, the most toxic actually rule the world. They very easily ascend to the top of the political hierarchy. So um, basically, everything worldly they generally get as part of their soul contract. They're here to have that power so they can abuse it, so that they can become more worldly. Oh, lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Um. Well, anyways, the monastic life thing. Yeah, I mean, you're being isolated, and you could barely hold down a job. You know what I mean? How many videos have you seen that chosen ones can't work a 9 to 5? Um, really, it seems like we're here to do two things. We're here to meditate in isolation, and we're here to take people's abuse and deal with it in the way that Christ would deal with it, which is to say, alchemically, to say their cruelty is an opportunity to overcome your ego. Think about it. That's what chosen ones endure. Everywhere they go, their ego is attacked. Everyone's trying to destroy your ego. But you signed up for that. That's what a soul contract is. Um, the way that people typically describe how what you're chosen for as being a chosen one and how you're meant to deal with that is kind of delusional. It really is like working against the stream. It's like, no, you need to fight your way to the top, and then everyone will know you're the man, and then you change the world and make everything better. How are you gonna change the world, bro? Look at all these chosen one YouTubers. They never reach a point that they have mass appeal. The only people that watch them are other chosen ones. Seriously, think about it. Chosen ones and a couple haters. So how are they going to ever develop that reach to change the world? You're not here to change the world. You're here to change yourself. You're here to ascend. Work with the flow, not against the flow. Working against the flow is trying to overcome all of these enemies that you attract everywhere and get everyone on your side when nobody has ever been on your side, except maybe other chosen ones who, by the way, you don't have a personal relationship with in your personal life. You only attract in your personal life toxic people, which is isolation. What are you meant to do in isolation? Think about it. What all things can you do in isolation? Understanding that you may work and develop a skill, and that may be part of it. Adding certain ideas into the discourse so that eventually, maybe in a different time, that blossoms. Maybe in a time that's not so Kali Yuga like. But really, for the most part, in isolation, you're meant to go within and you're meant to transform those things within. You're meant to meditate. You're meant to take, and when in the inevitable situations, it's inevitable that you're going to encounter people because it's magnetism. You were put on this earth to attract worthless, toxic people. And they were put on this earth to find someone like you to get worse. So that's part of it, but it doesn't need to be so intense and extreme. And in fact, matter of fact, it will just feel right when you put yourself in a position that you don't need to, in a routine way, interact with those people. Meaning you're not working a highly social 9 to 5 where you got to work with coworkers. Even still, you will have run-ins with demonic people. And that's like low intensity exercise. You should view it as exercise. You need to learn to take people's seriously low vibration, cruel shittiness, their attacks on your ego. It's really low vibration. They hate themselves. They project that onto you. They try to drag you down. They want to see you humiliated, embarrassed, broken, miserable. Um, and they want to fill you with shame and misery. That's their plan. It's really in their heart of hearts is what they want to do. Of course, in their highly delusional, unconscious brains, they probably see it differently. But there's really no point in trying to understand somebody like that. That's just a brain dead person, and that's what most people here in this timeline are fucking brain dead, morally, emotionally retarded people. But it's meant to start out as low intensity exercise, learning to work out chemically with that to transform it, and you get better and better at it. And at the same time, you're meditating and you are dissolving the ego and you're overcoming vice. You're overcoming vice. Not here to shit on Christianity. There's a lot I like about Christianity. Um, Even though it's not necessarily part of the Bible, I really like the 7 heavenly virtues and overcoming the 7 deadly sins. When you do that, your vibration gets even higher. You know, stop being carnal, stop being sexual, stop being a whore, stop masturbating, um, stop being envious, and learn to forgive. Don't be wrathful. Learn to forgive. It's super tempting because the people you encounter as a chosen one are the most worthless, scummy, um, low vibration people ever. They truly deserve to be tortured. Like, I don't think hell's a real place. Really, hell's a process. Really, hell is the process of burning karma. So really, you don't even have to participate, bro. That's what karma is. And just because it doesn't happen in one lifetime doesn't mean it's not there. Karma is a mechanism that explains the entire blueprint of why people are born and everything that happens in their lives. You don't have to actually punish people, as tempting as it is. If you're a chosen one, you get disrespected and treated cruelly in like the shittiest ways. But you don't have to lift a finger. That's the beautiful thing about the universe. They are already doing what they're doing because they're low vibration, miserable people. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. It gets so much worse for them. They have so much agony and suffering in their future. Your job is only to forgive and understand them and let go of your resentments. But at the same time, you have to learn to throw people away like they're worthless garbage. So those two things have to be true at the same time. This is how you have to move in the world as a chosen one. Um, people chosen ones, whine about their family being toxic, and I say that's fair, but just get rid of them, right? So if you're a chosen one, the idea of the special person in your life, special loved one, you don't have a special person. You don't have a loved one as a chosen one. You don't get to have that. Because your entire family's toxic. So uh, your mom's probably a worthless person. Your dad's probably a worthless person. And I say worthless, but they could be worse. Like I said, they could be like child molesters. They could be, chopping up kids or Munchausen by proxy, all that like serious, foul, terrible shit. But they're bad people, and you should just see them as what they are and forgive them. So that's a big important thing is don't be delusional, in your positivity. Don't be like, oh, they have their problems, but in their heart they're good people. No, they're bad people at heart. They're demonic. That's what's become the majority of their being. Um, but you need to look at that scummy, worthless person, and you need to forgive them, and you need to let go of that resentment. So you're actually here severing connections. You're not here. You're here to foster a sense of internal connection with everything. You are here to cultivate and strengthen universal love. But there is a very big difference between universal love and the kind of love that you have for like your dog or for your girlfriend or for your mom. That's a very sort of highly personal, almost kind of egoic and attached love. Um, what makes being a chosen one suck is that your entire soul contract is written in such a way that that kind of love is here to die. Every time you try to pursue that, um, you suffer for it in catastrophic ways. So everything in your life is about destroying personal connections and using that as a vehicle of transformation to achieve a more universal love and connection to all of existence. You're here to get closer to God. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the sooner you're going with the flow of your life and things work in your favor rather than just believing in things that can never be, as a lot of people in the chosen one community seem to. Um, so yeah, I mean, really, the chosen one, um, the mark of the chosen one, let's say, is that everything in their life is pushing them towards monastic life. You know, you're being pushed into isolation. A lot of chosen ones almost suffer like Job, and they can't hold down a job, and they have a hard time having money. You're almost pushed into like almost like poverty in a lot of cases. So there's so many forces that are kind of like trying to put you in the role of being a monk. And yeah, I think until chosen ones start approaching it like that, they're kind of just chasing their own tail. It's kind of just the same videos over and over again. You know, all these chosen one YouTubers talking about like, oh yeah, that isolation season was just a season. But then you get to talking about how everyone and like in the next videos you get talking about how like yeah everyone's fake, everyone's switching on you, everybody's demonic. Well, that's true. Everybody that you're going to come in contact with is demonic in the first place. That's not going to change in the isolation season. The only thing separating isolation seasons is you bringing in more toxic people that are going to switch up on you. That never stops. It never stops. The only real connections that you form are here as part of your mission of being here, whatever that is. Partially, I think that it is sort of the call to monastic life. So um, at least spreading awareness of the chosen ones phenomenon to other chosen ones who don't know what's going on. Um, those don't end up being people in your inner circle. I have not seen that yet, but those are people that you can interact with in a positive way, but not for too long. There's repulsion forces there, and um, you can have periods of somewhat amiable relationships with people related to whatever your life purpose is for being here. It's not necessarily just to, be a monk and just dissolve your ego and all this shit. That's a very big part of it, but there's also very often a secondary way in which you're here to contribute some kind of change to the world without necessarily changing the world. You're not changing the world. You're adding a change to the world. You're planting a seed, and only the minority is going to benefit from what you're doing. Extreme minority. Point 0.000018, aka 0.0018% of people. It's a chosen 144. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.